Good afternoon, class. Our subject for today is Math Grade 7. It's Quarter 1, Week 3. This is module for CALABARZON. And our topic for today is the absolute value in integers. But before that, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell para naman updated tayo sa lahat ng videos pag nag-upload ako. Okay? So let's start. So our lesson for today is about absolute value and integers. What is expected of you? After going through this module, you are expected to, number one, represent the absolute value on a number line as the distance of a number from zero. And number two is to perform fundamental operations on integers. Okay? So before we start, we need to go over one task, okay? Sa task na ito, it says on a separate sheet of paper, you need to illustrate a sea with the following. A crab, which is 5 feet below the sea level. A cliff, which is 3 feet above the sea level. And a bird flying 4 feet above the sea level. Use the vertical line to help you out with the illustration. So, mag-drawing kayo ng sea level. So, parang dagat. Then, mag-drawing kayo ng cliff, which is 3 feet above the sea level. Tapos, mayroong crab sa ilalim ng dagat, which is 5 feet below. Then, isang ibon na lumilipad daw, that is 4 feet above the sea level. Okay? So, I'll give you a few minutes to make the drawing. Then, pause the video. After you completed the drawing, you can play the video again. Okay, starts now. Okay, so, after you draw the illustration, ito yung mga tanong. After making the drawing, study this carefully and answer the questions below. Okay, so we have 7 questions there. And again, I'll give you enough time to work on those questions. You can pause this video and then after answering the questions, you can play back the video so I can proceed with the next lesson. Alright, it starts now. Alright, good. So I think you're done with your task number 1. So let's begin with knowing what is the absolute value of the number. The absolute value of a number, or it's represented by 2 bars and then in between is the number, is the distance of the given number on the number line of 0. The absolute value of a number disregards the direction from where it lies with respect to 0. So, kung horizontal yung number line mo, it doesn't, it disregards the direction whether you go left or right. Kung vertical naman, it doesn't, it disregards the direction whether you go up or down. Okay? When we talk of distance, it is always positive. So, kahit na pumunta ka sa kaliwa, which is the negative side of the line, pag binilang mo yung distance from 0, it will always be positive. The absolute value of 2, written as the bar 2, then another bar, represents the distance from 0 on the number line. So for example tong illustration natin, example number 1, represent the absolute value of 6 on the number line. So, we have there a number line which has 0 to 8 and then 0 to negative 2. Okay, 6 is the unit from 0. So, pag may bilang tayo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from 0, meaning the absolute value of 6 is 6. So, that is written as bar 6 bar is equals to 6. Kasi yung symbol natin for absolute value is yung bar, tapos nasa gitna yung number. Okay, so pag binilang mo yung number 6, starting from 0, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the distance of 6 from 0 is 6. Kuha? Okay, let's start with the next lesson. Okay, on illustrative example number 2, please represent the negative 4 on the number line. So negative 4, the distance of negative 4 from 0 is 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Punta ng left side kasi yung left side is negative. So that is representing 0 or representing negative 4 if the absolute value of negative 4 is 4 because 4 is the distance from from 0 to negative 4. Okay, susulat mo siya as bar negative 4 bar is equals to 4. Okay? So, paano naman pag dalawang number? Which shows in illustrative example number 3. Represent the absolute value of negative 5 plus the absolute value of 3. So, same thing. Unahin muna natin yung negative 5. So, the distance of negative 5 from 0 is 5. Yan. 5. And then, the distance from 0 to 3 is 3. Okay? So, pag in-add mo siya, always positive, Thus, the absolute value of 5 plus 3 is equals to 5 plus 3 is equals to 8. So, i-add mo lang yung distance ng negative 5 sa positive 3. It doesn't necessarily pagka negative siya is always negative. Ang binibilang natin dito ay yung absolute value. Ibig sabihin yung distance from 0 ng isang number. Okay? Nakuha? Okay. So, next line is the illustrative example number 4. So, what is the value of negative absolute? Negative 5. Okay? So, it is written as negative 5 bar. At tinatawag siya as, what is the negative absolute value of negative 5? Okay. When a negative sign appears before the absolute sign, this means that you are taking the inverse or opposite of the absolute value, thus leading to a negative number. Pero since ang value natin is negative 5, tapos may negative siya, imbes na pumunta tayo sa left side, which is the negative side of the number line, pupunta tayo sa kanan. So, negative 5 is 5 units from 0. So, thus, the negative absolute value of negative 5 is 5. That is written as negative 5 bar is equals to 5. So, imbes na pupunta ka ng kaliwa, since yung absolute value mo ng negative 5 ay nilagyan ng negative, pupunta ka sa opposite side, which is the positive side. Okay? Nakuha? Dali lang, di ba? Okay. Alright, our next lesson is about the absolute value in addition and subtraction of integers. So, paano to? Absolute value plays a vital role in performing operations on integer. Study the illustration and analyze carefully and discuss that in the discussion that follow. Okay? In the following illustration, it represents the diamond na may white shade. It represents the positive. And the diamond with the darker shade, it will represent the negative numbers. Okay? So, a pair of one negative and one positive is a 0. Okay? Bakit? Bakit naging a pair of one negative and one positive is a 0? Pag pumunta tayo sa last slide natin, diba? Nakita niyo yan? Yung 0, this 0, pagka nag-pair ka ng isang positive, at isang negative, ang gitna niya lagi ay 0. Pag halimbawa, dalawang negative at dalawang positive, ang gitna pa rin niya is 0. Okay? Okay na? Let's go back to our slide, ha? Yan. Alright, next slide. Absolute value in addition of subtraction of integers. Okay? Saan po yan? Illustrative example number 1. Okay, you have 3 positives plus 2 positives is equals to 5. Diba? Simple lang. Addition lang naman. 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. To add 2 positive integers, you just have to add the 2 integers and copy the positive sign. Diba? Copy the positive sign of it. Okay na? Okay, note, an integer without a negative sign is automatic a positive integer. So pag wala ka nakitang negative sign dyan, automatic the number is positive. Okay? Illustrative example number 2. You have negative 3 plus negative 2 is equals to negative 5. Okay? To add 2 positive integers, you just have to add 2 integers and copy the negative sign of it. Sorry, negative to, negative sign. Negative integers. Okay. Okay, to add 2 negative integers, just add the 2 integers and copy the negative sign of it. Note that an integer without a negative sign is always a positive integer. So, in this case, you have negative 3 and negative 2. Pag in-add mo siya, i-add mo lang siya, tapos kakopy mo yung negative sign. So that is negative 5. Okay? Okay. Example number, or observe mo na, observe. So, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, if you have 1 positive and 1 negative, anong value niya? 0. Tama. Eh, pag 2 positive and 2 negative, ano ang value niya? 0 pa din. Very good. Okay. When you add the same number of positive and negative numbers, observe that the value will always be 0. So, same number ng positive and same number ng negative, the sum will always be 0. Adding a number to its additive, inverse, or opposite will always result to 0. They are called the zero pair. Okay? Zero pair ang tawag sa mga yan. Bawa, kahit nasabihin mo na 3 negative plus 3 positive, it will always be 0. Okay, example number 3. Okay, you have 3 plus negative 2 is equals to 1. The same as if you have negative 3 plus positive 2, ano sagot? It's negative 1. Bakit? To add a positive and negative integers, subtract the 2 integers and copy the sign of the first number. So, kakopy nyo yung una, yung 3. Kung ano yung sign ng 3, di ba? Nakita nyo, positive, ang result niya is positive 1. Pag negative 3, ang result niya is negative 1. Alright, so illustrative example number 4. This time we're gonna subtract. So in subtracting integers, we change the operation into addition and then change the sign of the subtrahen. Once changed, apply what you've learned in adding integers. So paano yun? So for example, you have negative 4 minus positive 2. Sabi dyan, it's equals to negative 6. Paano naging negative 6? So, ang rule for subtraction is you have to change the operation from subtraction to addition. And then change the subtrahend's sign, whether it's negative or positive, you change it to the opposite sign. So, in this case, we have positive 2, gagawin natin siyang negative 2. So, following the rule on example number 2, where you add two negative numbers, negative 4 plus negative 2 will be equals to negative 6. Malinaw? Okay, second example. We have negative 4 minus negative 2. The answer would be negative 2. Paano nangyari yan? Okay, again, we will change the operation to addition. And then the negative sign, the negative 2 sign will make it positive 2. So following the rule on illustrative example number 3, negative plus positive is equals to, you need to subtract the number 4 to number 2. So magiging number 2 siya. Plus, you follow the sign of the first number. So negative 4 plus positive 2 is equals to negative 2. Okay? Okay, always remember, the operation will always change in addition. Okay? In changing sign, the positive or the positive numbers will become negative, and the negative integers will become positive integers. Okay? Malinaw po? Alright. Okay, so that ends the lesson for this week. I want you to answer learning task number 2. And from there, let me pause this video. And then just play it once you come back, once you finish it. And I hope that you can answer it by now, following all the examples that I've given you. Okay, you can start answering now. All right, so once you finish with task number 2, let's proceed with learning task number 3. So a mercury thermometer records a temperature of 8 degrees Fahrenheit at 10 a.m. If the temperature drops 3 degrees Fahrenheit every hour, what will be the temperature by 10 p.m. of the same day? So dito gagamit kayo ng number line. Okay? Mag-number line kayo from you show the degrees and the time. Okay? Okay, then if you're finished with that, continue with the number 2, which is the question number 2. Ang nakalagay dito is Kate gets into an elevator on the 3rd floor of a shopping mall. She goes up 6th floor to reach the food court. After an hour, she went down 2 floors to buy books. At which floor is she now? So, ang gagawin nyo naman dyan is vertical number line para malaman nyo kung ano yung sagot. So, for number 1 is